BBC1.
This is BBC One. Now the concluding episode of our three-part drama series based on Martin Gray's true and often disturbing story of survival in Nazi-occupied Europe. For Those I Loved. On BBC Two shortly, Moviedrome presents the spine-chilling thriller Manhunter, which features the screen debut of Hannibal the Cannibal, the sinister psychiatrist later to surface in The Silence of the Lambs. Played on this occasion by Brian Cox, with William Peterson as the ex-FBI agent who enlists his help to trap a serial killer. Here on BBC One in 15 minutes, every man visits London's Kensington Temple, a Pentecostal church and home of the saved, to talk to members of the congregation about their own potent brand of Christianity. First on BBC One, the news with Michael Buerk.
The European peace mission to Yugoslavia has collapsed. They warn that the country is heading for catastrophe. Hundreds are saved, but 15 are still missing after a cruise liner founders off South Africa. Good evening. The three European foreign ministers who've been trying to broker a ceasefire between the feuding Yugoslav republics have returned home, saying that their mission has failed. Hans van den Buerk, the Dutch foreign minister, said Yugoslavia now faced tragedy and catastrophe. Germany has called an emergency meeting of all European foreign ministers to see if there's anything more that the community can do. There's been more fighting on the border between Serbia and Croatia today.
It's the first time in the missions to Yugoslavia that the EEC Troika has gone away empty-handed. But the Dutch Foreign Minister, Mr. van den Broek, was unable to find the willingness to compromise.
The discussions, in fact, are stagnating, if not being stonewalled. We regret this, we deplore this, not because of our effort, evidently, but very much because of our common concern for the plight of the people here.
Now the hour is late, and there's little to stand in the way of a full-scale civil war between Serbs and Croats. The breakdown of peace talks is especially ominous for such places as Kostunica on Croatia's front line. Captured by Serbian irregulars last week and bombed from the air in the course of the attack, it has since been retaken by Croatian forces who have sniper positions even in the church tower and are expecting a further attack. They have set mines on the approach roads, guarded by day and illuminated by night, and the garrison commander has even laid out a Yugoslav flag in an attempt to confuse the pilots of enemy aircraft.
If you put our flag there, the Croatian flag, they would drop the bombs immediately.
And the commander here is no ordinary National Guardsman, but a former soldier of fortune in Africa, now come home to defend his native Croatia.
But we're waiting, you know. We won't give up here.
Does this mean you have to defend every inch of Croatia?
Yes, right now, yes. And we're defending right now on the borders. If we don't defend the borders, they will move up.
But today they didn't move up, for the fighting restarted even while we were here. Croatian forces against Serbian irregulars shooting from outside the town. The exchange lasted for half an hour, and Croatian forces don't expect it to be the last. For them, there's not much hope of peace or time for distraction, as they find themselves apparently on the verge of the first war in Europe since 1945. Martin Bell, BBC News, Kostunica, Croatia.
Rescue services are still searching off the South African coast for 15 people missing from the cruise liner Oceanos. Nearly 400 passengers, including 6 Britons and over 200 crew, were on board when the ship went down near Coffee Bay. It's hoped that those unaccounted for have been picked up by boats which joined the rescue efforts.
In a howling wind, the Oceanos leans into the sea. Her decks flooding, engines powerless, the ship was driven towards the shore by mountainous waves. Some passengers clung to the deck rails. Hundreds of others scrambled into lifeboats. Those who couldn't jumped into the sea. It was a day of dramatic rescues. Air Force helicopters hovered above the ship, winching those on board to safety as the Oceanos sank lower in the water. Navy and cargo ships joined in the operation, scouring the seas for any sign of life. As the survivors were brought ashore, some described how they felt when they were rescued.
It was a case of getting lost. We were cold and tired now, and it got in sleep. Everyone was worried. And